Alrighty, baby.
What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of right before, like a week from right now, we will be in Ventura, California at the Ventura Fairgrounds. A concert in your car will be presenting Roy Englebright's Lucha Libre and Extreme Wrestling, and we will have the Director of Marketing and Operations for Englebright Promotions, the one and only Fernando Lepe. Fernando, what's going on, my friend?
Thank you so much, Adams, for having me here on the show. As always, it's a pleasure to just catch up with you. And uh, again, man, looking forward to share a little bit of what's going to be happening as we look forward to kick off our drive-in event, our second drive-in event show, actually, that we're putting together along with the Concerts in Your Car series. So yeah, sir,
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I had the fortunate instance of being there for the first kind of incarnation of concerts in the card, and this one was at the Orange County Fairgrounds in Costa Mesa, California. Now, obviously, there's a bit of a change in venue, going more coastal from Little League, for those who are in the know. From like Orange County to Ventura County along the coastline of California. So, what prompted the change of I guess location?
location. Yeah. So what happened was that with certain counties, there's certain restrictions with COVID going on. So I mean, at the end of the day, we don't want to just kind of stop and see other businesses open up and do their thing. We are a company that's known for its events that we do for MMA and boxing. And when we launched our third show, which is wrestling now, um, we figured that it's a little bit more flexible in terms of not having to deal with a commission, and it's just a different type of spectacle. So yeah, that's why we decided to not only change locations for the fact of the again county restrictions with COVID and whatnot, but at the same time there was also this production company called CBS Production Company, who are the ones that are bringing the concert series in your car, and they're adding this show, which is the Extreme Lucha Libre show. That's the name of the show, and we're pretty much the ones in charge of making sure that at the end of the day there is a good show that the people are going to be able to not only enjoy but see. And then people kind of they from what I've seen on social media, as far as comments going back and forth, as is this like the ECW Extreme? Is it like CCW, or like, well, not to that extent. And what we mean by extreme, meaning the extreme ofness of the daring maneuvers, the high flying acrobatic maneuvers that these guys do in the ring, because some of this stuff that they do is extreme, so we weren't referring too much of the extreme hardcore style, if you will. It's more, again, it's extreme in the perspective of, again, the moves are cool, they're high flying moves, they're very dangerous moves. And along with that being said, is that the reason why I'm here today, and I guess not in my house or an office, but in the Marriott Beach Hotel out here in Ventura, is to ensure that tomorrow when we do the live coverage with KTLA Channel 5 Morning News, again, we're promoting the event, we're letting people know what's going on as far as what's going to be in regards to our show. Um, and if you look at our talent, I believe that is one of the top tier uh, gatherings of independent local stars coming together to, of course, uh, be part of this awesome lineup in this second show that we got going on, and many more to come. But of course, we always have that in the back of our head that we always are looking forward to deliver the show with such a high standard that at the end of the day, people are gonna be talking about it and sharing it, with their friends on social media and so forth.
No, absolutely, absolutely. So obviously, having the first one, that basically occurred. I want to say it was like maybe about May, almost a year ago.
Yeah,
As a date, yeah. So,
right,
um,
close to about a year.
I guess what I learned, because again, the traditional like boxing and MMA crowd, this is kind of a new entity for Engelbright Promotions and Fight Club Heat. So I mean, what we learned in that first show versus now in terms of approach.
Well, I mean, back then there was more restrictions as opposed to with this uh, fairgrounds that we're dealing with. Of course, again, I mentioned it's a different county. With this drive-in, it's very different from the first one. Whereas the first one, they wouldn't let you tailgate. They wouldn't let you get out of your car as much. Again, to slow the spread of COVID. Um, Now that things have relaxed and they're easing off with the restrictions, I think it's fair to say that Ventura County is doing a well job by still implementing the social distancing the day of the show. But of course, I think from what I was told is there's 8 feet of spacing between cars. So even if you're out tailgating, you can still hear the sound coming from your radio, from your FM radio. You'll be able to tune in, and the sound will be coming from the stage. Now that's something that was very different from our first show, because in our first show we did not have sound coming from FM transmitter or from your FM radio. So it kind of, for some of the people that weren't necessarily used to, like you said, it wasn't a crowd that is used to or accustomed to professional wrestling scene. We still hit a home run. We still had 150 cars that day. And at the end of the day, we got some positive feedback as to when we were going to do another one. And when we were ready, just came down, it was getting more tougher. And so we figured, what, we're not going to try to do something that we, at the end of the day, is not going to profit. It's for profit. Again, our company is for profit. We're not going to lie. If you're in this business to make a show and not profit, I mean, you're just going to be losing money. And so at the end of the day, we had talks with management, of course, with Roy Engelbrecht, as far as uh, what needed to be done in order to ensure that we could have a safe show. Another thing was too, with cover, and that was required by the fairgrounds. That's something probably that has never been done in professional wrestling, let alone in any time that I can remember. To see someone that is not accustomed to wearing a mask, let alone a covering, and having to compete in there for 15 minutes, 10 minutes, I mean, it does take a toll on you. Um, so at the end of the day, these guys, when I had reached out to them, I was like, hey, these are the new updates and new changes. Are you guys, available? And we kind of been putting the card together. I guess it's been in the last 6 weeks. Uh, Mercurio, our matchmaker, who's been working on making sure that if there is one bout or one match that got pulled from the card, there's the necessary adjustments that need to be done. I mean, just like in boxing and MMA, when you have a bout or a fighter that can't make weight or has other prior commitments to whatever he got hurt or whatever, it does occur in professional wrestling too. Where you got a guy that probably was getting ready for his upcoming match. He understood there was a lot of immense pressure and wanted to be in top physical shape. But not only that, but also your cardio has to be really, really well in order to know where to take your pauses in the ring and how to pace yourself, in other words. So, I mean, these guys are excited. They're looking forward to doing the live coverage tomorrow with KTLA 5 channel 5 news. For those of you guys that could join us, please tune in tomorrow. If you live out here in Southern California, we could check out KTLA Channel 5 News. We're going to be doing the live coverage from I want to say the Ventura County Fairgrounds. Sorry. And we're going to be going live from 7 to 10 a.m. And if you guys could just tune in, show your support. If you could tweet something out in regards to our show, whether it be concerts in your cars or hashtag Lucha Libre and Ventura, please show your support any way you guys can. And yeah, man, like I said, I'm here to answer also any questions that the public might have in regards to the show. If they want to know what's the lineup, and again, we're going to be talking, which of course we'll be talking a little bit about the lineup. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, yeah, our good friend Yaz Beat says, "What's up, guys? How are you doing today? Absolutely great, and
my
hope that
friend
you
Jeff Beats, man, shout out to you, my brother. Thank you so much for always
absolutely,
supporting and always
ab-
supporting our inner circle of friends, and it's very much cool to have you, man. Thank you, man.
no, 1,000%, 1,000%. So obviously, we are a week, literally from the day. So
Yeah,
I think we should get into the actual card. So
yeah,
in terms of what we'll be seeing next Friday in Ventura, California, right? Kind of in the KTLA buzz is a nice little feed in, but
yep.
obviously we can't have anything without the card. So tell us what we'll be seeing.
So the first match, the first opener is you got two young, I want to say two guys that are looking to make a name in our company or in our promotion. These guys have been knocking on the door since last show. And that's the thing too with our show. Uh, Other people that are seeing our shows or our event flyers on social media, they say, "Hey, I might have what it takes to prove myself in the ring, showcase my skills to the audience, to the fans, and let them know that I belong and to be part of that promotion." So, in the opening match, we have El Zodiacal, who is a little bit of a mysterious kind of character and figure. He says he's San Francisco. I'm not sure if he's kind of taking the persona or alter ego of the Zodiac Killer, but he's known to kind of, say, he's been saying, "Hey, you know what? I don't care who it is. Just give me someone that I could wrestle with, and I'm going to show you at the end of the day I could take that victory." But not coming short is also Ruben Iglesias, who has also been in the independent scene, has been working hard, has been one of the upcoming professional wrestlers out here in Southern California, and he is looking to also again steal the show with his maneuvers, with his mat style technician. Our second match is a tag team match, yes, and with our second match, that is Rico Reeks or Ranchi Rico, as some of you guys may or may not know. There's also Chaz Herrera, who will be teaming up with him. And what kind of left me, I guess, in a sort of kind of a pause was when I saw that Chaz Herrera had turned from being a good guy, a baby face, to now turning heel, essentially a bad guy who doesn't want to follow the rules, who's kind of now formed this new alliance of the new formerly tag team or formerly new tag team, Los Bandidos, and so they're gonna be taking on Amazing Junior. OG Playboy was originally scheduled um, to be partnering up with his brother. However, I think he reached out to our matchmaker to discuss that he wasn't able to show up next week. I think he might have gotten hurt in training. It's still not 100% sure, but I think that he did what was right, which was not risk any type of further injury if he is, and get a medical opinion and clearance from a doctor. We're not saying we don't have insurance, because we also offer a general liability insurance for our wrestlers. Because again, this contact sport, this profession, you do risk, your well being, your body, and there's no secret as to why WWE said, "Hey, don't try this at home," because you don't want to end up in a hospital. But anyhow, moving on. We were able to secure another wrestler, another partner for Amazing Junior, just if not as just as amazing, and gentleman is known by the name of Ryan Kidd, who is a San Diego based area wrestler. He has wrestled for promotions like SoCa Pro. He's went on to wrestle for EWF, ASW, and quite more other independent promotions out here in the
Mm.
Southern California circuit. Our third match, which I know you're not a stranger, uh, is one that I think has been getting a lot of talk in social media. I think it has to be because maybe both of these females show such great capacity of 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 not only understanding of what professional wrestling is, but what it really takes to have that connection with the fans. And I mean, again, I've seen it throughout social media, and that has to be Zeta Zhang, who has been on a roll with her successful return coming back from her Taiwan tour that she did. She's been impressive, of course. If you follow professional wrestling, you know that she's been in NXT. She's been in the Mae Young Classic, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Um, I mean, this girl is something else, and I wouldn't be surprised if, after our show, WWE wants to sign her full time, or AEW for that matter. I mean, so she'll be facing against Bobby Van, and Bobby Van is a hell bent vixen. She is an upcoming prospect with a lot of a promising career. I know a little bit about her. I'm not too much knowledgeable with her background. I just know that she does train with Rikishi, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
And she
so
just
so
actually celebrated her 1,000th match in the
oh,
professional
okay.
wrestling business. Absolutely, which is pretty amazing. So, and she's cheers. She gives a bit of cheers and adulation to the next 1,000. Now, the march to the next 1,000 begins next Friday night, April 30th,
Woo!
at Ventura
Wow.
County Fairgrounds. So there's that.
Yeah, so there you go. There's already that, and then not only that, I mean, you can see it too. That if you jump on my social media page, or if you jump on any of these professional wrestlers, if you follow Zeta Zhang on her page, or Bobby Van on her page, you can see the amount of support from the fans, and it's crazy because despite of Bobby Van being a heel, or someone that's in the in terms in the dark side, if you will. um, she is willing to probably use any tactic in order to get a win. I cannot blame her for doing what she needs to. Now, our priority is to ensure that the refs, have a good control of the match, and have a good set of eyes and also ears. Um, but I feel confident that Zeta Zhang as well, with her mixed martial arts career and her
Yeah.
background. I mean, it plays a lot into hand, because there's a lot of things that we might not see that we were expecting from Zeta Zhang.
Absolutely, and Zeta, whenever Zeta Zhang is apparent, and you're pretty much sure you're going to see the Zeta gang turn out in full force.
Oh,
So there's that, and she spoke quite often of it last night on women's wrestling talk, which is a fantastic podcast put on by Emily Mayer, as well as TK Trinidad, as and Sarah the Rebel. So go ahead and follow all of their social media, because it's great.
nice.
Then you get that added bonus of seeing Zeta Zhang last week, and a couple months ago, this guy with the face for radio was on said podcast. So shout out to WW Talk, Women's Wrestling Talk, on all of their social medias.
Yes, sir. And then so moving on with our fourth match of the night, we have a very very dominant tag team. They are by far probably one of the guys that have a good uh, 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 technique, communication, and they could pretty much, without having to talk, they just know that with that eye contact, they're that good. And I'm talking about the Wolves Daddies, Tito Escondido and Che Cabrera. Man, these guys, I've seen them throughout the years. I know that they train at Santino's. They they started from the very bottom, worked their way up, and I mean, look, right now I could say, I wouldn't say in their prime, but they're getting there. They're getting there because I say that by the time they get to WWE or one of these major national platforms, that's truly when I would, I guess the independent circuit, considers someone, a prime, but anyhow, I'm not taking anything away from them. They are superstars. If you haven't seen them, go check them out. There's a lot of footage on them. The Wolf Zaddies, that is Tito Escondido and Che Cabrera, who again, they're an amazing tag team. But they also have a challenge up at hand, which is the team of High Risk. And that is what I like to call almost the proteges of the Young Bucks, if that makes sense. You have two young guys who train with Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, uh, who are stars in AEW, and rightfully so. I mean, you could see that, I guess that style of wrestling, within the High Risk. But what separates, I guess, the Young Bucks from the High Risk is that the High Risk team is that they're a little bit more daring. I guess it has to do with the fact that they're young and they're hungry prospects, to make a name for themselves. Um, when I first met Steven Andrews, the high flying Steven Andrews, I mean, I was just amazed by how well someone at 16 years old, when I first met him, like this kid's moving so super fast, and like, wow, I was just amazed by knowing that this guy was going to be one of the next future stars in professional wrestling. And somewhere along the line, I also met Simon Lotto, who of course is also Steven Andrews' partner. And Simon, has also, I want to say, under the wing of Steven Andrews, who's also been like their best friends or like brothers. They know each other really well. In terms of wrestling and training, these guys are so smooth, and that's what you want at the end of the day. You want good competition in your business. Um, that way, it attracts other players in the business of professional wrestling. I think that when people see, hey, they're putting on the top tag teams of SoCal, of Las Vegas, or whatever, other people are going to start chiming in. They're going to want some of the action. And what truly people don't know about this is that Wolf Zaddies, Team I Risk, it's practically almost for like the number one contendership, to be in line for a tag team championship title match down the line. Um, because you have two other wrestlers too, who I'm not going to mention right now, but they are in the main event. We're also looking to, at some point secure tag team titles. We know that Piloto Suicida from our last event is our current and world champion from our federation. Um, and so, yeah, man, I mean, like I mentioned before, this match in my hand, or in my book, excuse me, is going to be one of the most awesome, matches. It's going to live up to the high. It's like a roller coaster ride. Each match is going to, has their highs and their lows. But I think in this case, High Risk is really going to make us feel a lot of butterflies with just their maneuvers and craziness when they, with their daring, high flying moves. So I'm just looking forward to that match. I'm really stoked about it. I wish them the best for either side, whoever wins. I know that there's a difference in body weight and size, but I mean, again, when you got two teams that are good at what they do, that have traveled to Mexico, that have come back to the States and gone across the states and compete with other competition, it really shows that these guys are hungry. They're at the next level of their career, and they're ready to make the next, milestone or statement, on April 30th.
No, 100%. And you spoke of the Wolf Zaddies a little bit earlier. Well, Tito Escondido has actually been making a lot of noise as a single, competing in the most recent incarnation of Josh Barnett.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Josh
Josh
Barnett.
Barnett's Bloodsport.
So he's, obviously competed in the last drive-in lucha show in Costa Mesa, but he's going to have a little bit of a new set of tactics. He's essentially learned a new hold, as they say, or two. And so he's going to
Well,
bring
you know
that.
what happened right at the last show? You know what happened at the last show? See, well, so what happened at the last show was it was Tito Escondido and Ron Chirico, which in a sense was Los Bandidos. Somewhere along the line, when they lost their match to High Risk, there was a discommunication from that point. And I think Tito decided, hey, why am I going to relive an old chapter of my wrestling past? I'm going to go ahead and move on, continue my career with my other tag team partner, Che Cabrera, and move on forward with the Wolves Daddies, which, I had talks with them. And Rico, when I was talking to him, he said, hey, man, I'm not alone. I got somebody that can back me up, and I still want to be part, in fact, of the new 2.0 version of Los Bandidos. I'm like, dude, it worked. It worked well. I mean, that night, it worked well for both of them. They both found new partners, and they moved on. And despite behind the scenes, of course, they're all we all have that respect. But when it's time to go, it's time to go. I think that despite like, hey, me and you, if we're sparring partners, at the end of the day, when I get in that ring, I'm not gonna look like a fool, and I'm gonna beat you up. And I'm sorry, it's just that's what the people are paying for. They want to see pain. They want to see people getting hurt. Obviously not anyone dying or killing someone, but of course it's in our nature. For us to have that combat mindset. I think it even comes down to like this match. Our co-main event. Brandon Gatson and Simbodi. It's a rematch. It's not, and it's a rematch because, in a sense, you had Rock Riddle who kept on complaining to the matchmaker, saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm not gonna give up until my guy is the number one, until my guy has the main belt around his waist." And he almost threatened to sue and whatever, but we figured, hey, you know what? We are team players. We're businessmen. At the end of the day, we spoke with Rock Widow and we told him, look, we're willing to give you the rematch with one exception. And that exception is that we don't want you interfering again in that match, or you will be banned from ringside. Ever. Like that's it. You won't ever manage another wrestler. So we were really, really strict on that. And so we don't know, how is he managing Simbodi for this upcoming Friday, April 30th. But this is a very interesting situation here. You got Brandon Gatson, who is literally just, in my book, what I consider just inches away from signing, with the next major promotional and the next major national platform, in professional wrestling, whether it be MLW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, AEW, WWE, or what have you, right? But I know it. But someone that's been trying to put a stop to Brandon has been Rock Riddle. I don't know what it is. I don't know if Rock Riddle just sees something in Brandon Gatson in his past or something, but it's just like, or I just, or he's just not satisfied with the first result, which was from the last one. Thank God you were there recording. You got the footage. We saw what happened. When Rock was trying to use a fire extinguisher, and I guess it didn't work, and then he got caught, in the crossfires. And then he's complaining about his wrestler or his his one of his signees, losing. And I get it. You lose as a wrestler, you're not completely satisfied because you're not getting that big money payoff. And not only that, you're also pissed off at your manager for screwing you. Practically. So we'll see what will happen between these two. I'm looking forward to this rematch. And this is going to be one heck of a battle for Brandon Gatson, because you're not only worrying about the warlord overness and Bodie. You're also worrying about the 3-time Hall of Famer, Mr. Original, Mr. Wonderful, Rock Riddle. So
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Paul Perez, announcer of the main event with Paul Perez and Beto Gray, says, "Sounds like a good show. Best of luck." Me wants to know, do you need an
Well,
announcer?
Paul Perez, thank you so much for reaching out. You could go ahead and drop your information in my inbox. There is cases where maybe our in-house announcer, who is Mike Hart, who you had the chance of working with at Fight Club OC. Um, there's cases
Actually,
where.
you're coming in a little bit staticky, so go ahead and mute your mic and unmute it. See if that helps a bit.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, still weird. What we'll do is have you back out and then jump back in, and then I'll keep the folks.
Oh, nice. We're going to commercial break.
Oh, actually, you know what? You're good. You're fine.
Oh, we're good.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of another, you were saying about the announcer, good sir.
Yeah. So Paul Perez, yeah, send me your inbox. You can reach me at my email, fightcluboperations@gmail.com. Also, again, through Facebook. And yeah, we'll try to make it happen. If it's not for this show, it could possibly be for a future show down the road. So go ahead, send your resume, inbox me that good information, and I'll try to make something happen for you.
Absolutely. And he says, Mike is a true pro. You can't go wrong. We'll be in touch. Appreciate it. No,
Thank you,
absolutely.
Paul. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Awesome,
absolutely.
man.
Now, Don McGuire of the Fighter's Voice, he wants to know, it's kind of an off the wall question, but do you think that if you put a wrestling and MMA on the same card, would it be profitable? There have been risen,
Well,
yeah, there's been quite a few iterations of such. But go ahead, good sir. You might have a little bit more financial knowledge than I do.
Well, my thoughts on it is going to be very clear. I mean, it could be profitable in the sense that if you have amateur MMA fighters who are willing to do stand up contact, and kind of do it underground, yeah, you can. Absolutely. And you can mix in the professional wrestling. Um, I've seen it happen with boxing and wrestling, and it doesn't go too well. Because what people have to understand is with boxing, it's stand up and it's just mainly, the punches, 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 punches. So when you get, like Donna, was it Don McGuire or Don Aguirre, right? Who did the question?
Mhm.
I like what he said. Where if you can mix in MMA with professional wrestling, yes, I do, because MMA has that grappling aspect. Where in wrestling or professional wrestling, you have that grappling aspect. MMA, you have submissions. In professional wrestling, we have submissions. And yeah, it's just as opposed to having close fist punches, in professional wrestling, we have the forearm, or we have the karate chop, the chop, across the chest, and other sorts of punches, but it's not necessarily a close fist punch to the face. That is as according to our rule book and our promotion, it's banned. It's not allowed. You're not supposed to punch. If the referee catches you, he's gonna give you verbal warning. He catches you twice. He catches you the second time. He's gonna give you the warning. And then third time, that's it. Just because I don't think that punches should be allowed in professional wrestling. It's wrestling. It's grappling. It's not striking. So I think in terms of, again, MMA with professional wrestling, I think I would want to say maybe 5 amateur MMA bouts, and then you want to do maybe 3 single uh, wrestling bouts.
Now, I think the second part of the question, because I guess the old adage is if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
we need to know in this particular scenario, do you, Fernando Lepe, think that it would be profitable?
Wow. Well, yeah. I mean, as long as I think, again, if the amateur MMA folks are wrestling tickets, yes. Now, professional wrestling, that's not For a professional wrestler to sell tickets, that's really unheard of. That's really an untapped market, in my opinion. There's not a lot of wrestlers that are willing to. They say they are, but they don't. That they say, hey, you know what? I'm willing to sell 10 tickets. Well, you got to sell more. Like you guys have to understand this, and this is now diving into a whole different subject. But as a professional wrestler, what I believe is that just like an MMA or a professional boxer that is up and coming, they're selling their tickets. They're proving their worth, their value. They want to say, hey, man, um, I want to fight this guy, but he's gonna cost you. The promoter's gonna cost him this much. So, how much money you're bringing in? We still got to cover his flight, his hotel, his per diem, his medical exams. So why don't we incorporate that same tool into professional wrestling? Hey, you want to wrestle a former WWE star and you're becoming a local hot attraction, then yeah, you should bust your ass, in other words, and sell tickets, and cut a percentage with the promoter, hey, this is my part, this is your percentage. Work out a deal, prove your worth, and I think, because at the end of the day, it's a business. It's a business, unfortunately with professional wrestling, and I think that because they don't have a commission out here, that way it's kind of like outlaw, like Jim Cornette says. This is just an outlaw show, And yeah, when you have an outlaw show, anyone kind of comes and goes and treats it like whatever. But in reality, when you have true professionals that know the true art of professional wrestling and really present it the way it should be presented, I think, people will gain back that respect and say, okay, now we get it. Not everyone is a David Copperfield magician. Not everyone is a Chris Angel, and I believe there's from real good world class wrestlers to real bad wrestlers who weren't taught the right way. And I mean that could be the same said for MMA and for boxing, for kickboxing, for jujitsu. That's if you right there's no bad students, only bad teachers. Because that's the reality of it you know and so yeah, along with that, I do believe that when you're serious about any business, you find a way to put your foot in the door. You try to get in there somehow, and in the beginning you might not get what you want, but I mean that's part of the sacrificing. That's part of like eventually you're gonna pawn in everything that you have sacrificed so that you can cash out, right? And be like, all right, this is worth it now. Like life is giving me the good opportunities now because all this hard work that I've been putting, into whatever they may be. But yeah, keep it good, keep it positive, and both with the mindset and your heart, they both always have to be connected to the right focus and energy, so that way your projects can come out 100% groovy, no errors, no hiccups.
No, 100%. Now, you have mentioned that this is a business. So, the business at hand is the remainder of this card. So, I mean, the first half of this card is pretty phenomenal. We've got ex WWE folk, we've got, some of the hottest prospects that the Southern California region, as well as the
Yes.
nation here in the United States, have ever seen. Um, some international flair with Libre Van as well as Zeta Zhang and the lone female match on the card. But I mean, obviously, you were talking about a build, right? So all
Yeah.
of these matches are building to what's in store next. So what do we have in store next?
So the grand finale, which is of course Extreme Lucha Libre, which is a little bit of that Lucha Libre. Well, not a little bit, which is just Lucha Libre style wrestling. We have a main event tag team match. We have two veterans that are known for their style of wrestling. We have Flecha Fugaz uh, from Mexico City, Mexico. He has that, I want to say, that CMLL style, from the Consejo, and then you have Dr. Maldad, who's also one of the members of the LA Fuckers crew. He's a well-known wrestler. If you don't know who he is, you're missing out. I'm not saying that you're not a fan; you're just missing out. But yeah, check out Doctor Maldad if you guys can. Check out Flecha Fugaz if you guys can. That way you guys can see, hey man, this is the type of action we're gonna see when come Friday, April 30th. Um, with that being said, you got two veterans that have well over 20 years of experience into the years of wrestling that they've just, have. And we have also the fast rising prospects, which is Rey Leon, who is cruiserweight champion right now in Colorado. He's also a champion out here in California with this other promotion. I'm not too quite familiar with the name. And then you have Vega too, who is also another young and up and coming prospect of professional wrestling, who's also has that style from Jalisco, from Mexico. They so basically you bringing in just the north and south of the border, in other words, and it's like this is the main plate of the night, and trust me, like it's gonna be unbelievable. I know it, because these guys have something to prove. They want to be the stars of the night. I mean, and you got two dudes that have put in their time. You could almost say it's like you have the journeyman versus the prospects. That's how I look at it. To be completely honest with you, you got the two heels that say, "Why should we, just make this easy for you guys? Why should you guys get any more money than what I'm already making? Or let alone, why should you guys be in the same poster as I am?" And that's the type that, these type of things do happen, um, you get egos in the way of certain wrestlers because they don't want to share the spotlight, and I totally get it. When you're on top, you want to be on top. It's just the way it is. Um, you got Fletcher Fugaz, who again, with his style, he does a lot of more mat based submission style. Doctor Maldad, despite of his size, he can be quite agile and he can fly off the ring. It's crazy. It's something that when I first saw him, I was just shocked to see, like, wow, this guy is something else. He can move very quick. But then you got again, you got Rey Leon, you got Vega, two hungry guys waiting to make a name for themselves come Friday, April 30th at the Ventura County Fairgrounds. Man, it's gonna be unbelievable and it's gonna be fun and we're also gonna have you. That's right, we're gonna have you. We're gonna have you do commentary. Yes, sir. Because of course, man, I need you, brother. And you know that who better than to have, according to Adam Woods, man, get you behind the microphone and make sure that the fans, while they're in their cars, they can hear you from the FM radio. And of course, the sound will be coming from the stage as well for those that are going to be tailing outside, tailgating and whatnot. So yeah, man, it's going to be a beautiful event, and I know that I'm truly positive, and I know that there's going to be more to come. I'm really excited for it.
I can't wait. Again, we're a week away. Friday, April 30th, in the Ventura County Fairgrounds in Ventura, California. We will have a fantastic Extreme Lucha, Extreme Pro Wrestling show coming to you. Now, obviously, for those who don't know the beats, and I might have put them right in the description, but for people to get more information on what's going down, again, a week from today, where can they find it?
Yes. I'm inviting everyone out here from Southern California. Even, hey, I mean, it's crazy to see that there's people coming from San Diego for this show. People from all the way down to India coming out for the show. I mean, it's crazy. It's really legit, bro. Like, I was tracking down the sales with production and just looking at just some of the people that, like, the tickets are. Like, dude, if you're willing to do a 4-hour drive to come see our show, that means that you're paying value and you're getting your money's worth. I mean, this is not your typical indie show out in a parking lot, out in some church building, old rundown. No. This is to me what Engelbrecht has been about, being the cream of the crop, and especially for all of the local independent scene. He's done it with his MMA and boxing shows. They are if not the last step before you sign with a major company. They're like the plateau you must touch in order to sign with full time to a major platform. And so that's what I believe, that we're offering that same type of platform, where on that day, I mean, you got 20-foot LED screens, all four sides. You're gonna have the truss, the lights. I mean, and if you have not checked it out, man, I beg you, man, check out Concerts in Your Cars. Even if you don't want to buy a ticket, it's fine, but just check it out, just so that you could get a picture. I'm not sure how I could describe it, but I got it. It is a very unique live action drive-in experience, unlike anything you have seen before.
And there it is. There it is. So again, Friday night, April 30th, Ventura County Fairgrounds is where it's going in Ventura, California. We'll see you there. And just a little precursor to what you will see. Hey, we mentioned the V-Van Zeta Zhang match, but here's a little bit of a tidbit, because usually I would go ahead and tell you, go ahead, if you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I mean, Fernando, you're subscribed, right?
Hey, man, I already subscribed. You guys already know it. And, if you guys have not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that button. It's that simple. Don't forget to share if you have a chance. If not, it's all good in the woods, according to Adam Woods.
There you go. But again, we gave you, I told you, we promised you a little bit of precursor to next Friday night, April 30th. And we've got Zeta Zhang to kind of convince you to subscribe to the channel. So here goes.
Oh, dude.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang. Make sure you subscribe to According to Woods YouTube.